Hi everyone, welcome back to Layer Academy. It's Mickey again, and in this video we're going to be working on the HTML layout for our image upload form. If you haven't already gotten the master layout working, you're going to need to watch the previous video or grab the code from GitHub before continuing. The first thing we'll want to do is to create a new route for our application. Let's load up our web.php underneath routes, and underneath the default route here, we're going to create two new routes. First one is going to be a GET request, and we're going to request a create route, and it's going to be using a uploads folder / upload controller, and the method we want to use is the create method, and let's give it a name of upload.create. And the second route that we're going to create is a post, and the post is going to be store, and we're going to use the uploads / upload controller, and the method will be store, and finally give it a name of upload.store. Now you'll notice here that we have uses uploads / upload controller, and we have it multiple times, so we could easily just define a group and put this in a namespace, and the namespace will be uploads. Let's wrap this inside an anonymous function, and we'll move our two routes in here. And basically what that means is we can get rid of the upload / here, as it's covered by our namespace within the group. Now we're going to want to make the upload controller. To do this, let's load up our terminal, and we're going to type in php artisan make controller, and we're going to want it to go to the uploads directory / upload controller. Now before I hit enter, if I look at my app directory and then HTTP and controllers, I currently don't have an upload folder. When I hit enter, Artisan is going to create the uploads directory for me and automatically put the upload controller within it. Now within this controller, let's create the two functions that we're going to be using. We'll create a function for create, and we're not going to pass in any variables, and we're going to just return a view, and we're going to return the view uploads.create. The second method here is going to be a store method. Once again, we're not passing in any variables, and we're just going to do a die and dump, and let's spit out the request. Now to get everything working currently, we're going to have to make a link to the create function. If we open up our navigation, you can see we have upload image here. Let's replace this href tag with our route, and it's going to be uploads.create. Now remember that this route is actually referring to the name here. You can see it's actually upload.create, not upload, so we'll fix that. Let's save it, and let's see what's working here. Now if we click on upload images, we should get a new URL, and we get this error because the view isn't created yet. Let's work on that now. So over in our IDE, we want to open up resources and views, and we're going to make a new folder, and we're going to call this folder uploads, and then within this folder let's make a new file, and let's call it create.blade.php. Now we want to make sure that we extends our layout, so we'll start the extends, and we are in layouts.app. We're going to have our section header here for our content, and we need to make sure we end that section. Within our section, we also have another section, but with an ID of main. I'm just going to copy some code in here, and you can see that we have our header for upload image, and within this section we're going to have a row and a column and start our form. The form action is going to be our route, and it's going to be upload.store. The next method we want to have is a post, and we also need to assign a class name, and the class name we're going to use is DropZone. And finally, we need to tell it the encoding type. So we're going to be using multipart / form data. We're going to also have to include our CSRF field. So we'll call that within our form. And I just want to pause 1 second here. Now, the reason that we're assigning a class name of DropZone to the form is because the JavaScript that we're going to be pulling in is automatically going to transform this into the DropZone element. So moving forward, we're going to have another form group, and it's also going to have a class fallback. So this is going to be the fallback in case Dropzone doesn't work. We'll include an image tag, and finally we'll include the file tag. So we'll need a input, and the type is going to be file. We'll also set the name, and let's set the name to image. Now we need a way to pull in the style sheets and the JavaScript for Dropzone. According to this page, we don't really have a way to do that. If we take a look at our main template file, which is app.blade.php, now looking at this file, there's a couple different ways that we can do this. We could easily just throw everything in our css/style.css. However, that really wouldn't look very nice. What we're going to be actually doing is we're going to be using a stack. A stack allows us to import or include styles or JavaScript or really any other code within multiple Blade files without overriding the content that's already there. Sounds confusing, but it's actually pretty easy. All that we need to do is define a stack, and in our case, we're going to define a stack called style. Let's also define a stack for our JavaScript, and we'll make sure it's at the bottom here. We'll just call it script. Next, we'll switch back over to our create.blade.php, and at the bottom, we'll tell Laravel that we want to push some style into the stack. And in our case, we're just going to push 2 links from the content delivery network. So I'll just copy and paste them in. And there we go. And just like with our style, we want to push the script object into our Blade template. So in here, we're just going to include a reference to the Dropzone JavaScript. So I'll copy and paste that in as well. And now let's make sure we have everything saved, and let's take a look at what we're working with. Let's switch back to Chrome, and we can click Upload Image, and you can see our Dropzone file is working here. So let's add a file. Now once we've clicked a file, you can see it's been uploaded, however it hasn't really been saved yet. That's going to be the next lesson. One thing to note is that our column is quite a bit off here. It shouldn't be spanning the entire page. So if we take a look here, we need to wrap everything within a container. Let's make sure that we do that so it looks nice. And when we refresh, it should be centered. Perfect. And let's actually take a look at what's happening behind the scenes here. If we inspect our element and we bring up the network tab, when we upload an image, you should see a storage call here, and you can see that we're grabbing the file information here. Now one thing to note, by default, Dropzone is going to be using the name of file for the file upload, so we'll just change our image name to that, just to keep it simple. And if we want to make sure that we have the name correct, we could just do a die and dump of the file, and the input is going to be file. If we save that, go back to Chrome and refresh, make sure we clear our network and upload a new image. When we click on store, you can see that we have the file information here. And that will be the same if we upload multiple files. And with that, it brings the lesson to an end. The next video, we're going to be storing the files on our server and adding them into our database. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.